Hello there. My name is Mr. Vale, and I am here to welcome you to the 2021 St. Anselm's Abbey School Poetry
Out Loud
competition. Poetry
Out Loud
is a national student recitation contest in which students from all over the nation compete in poetry recitation contests at the school level, the city level, and ultimately the national level to compete for college scholarships. This year, St. Anselm's virtual poetry
Out Loud
competition consists of 10 student videos that have been submitted to the judges for their approval. One moment. The students in poetry
Out Loud
are judged on various criteria such as degree of difficulty, physical presence, voice and articulation, and overall performance. Our judges for this year's poetry
Out Loud
competition, representing the English department, Ms. Dunn. Also representing the English department, Mr. Leathers. Also representing the English department, Mr. Morse. And also representing the English department, Dr. Manglitz. And this year's officiating crew, Mr. Edsel. And so, without further ado, our first poetry
Out Loud
school contestant, representing Form 3, Aidan Wetterham.
The Destruction of Sennacherib by Lord Byron. George Gordon. The Assyrian came down like the wolf on the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold, and the sheen of their spears was like stars in the sea. When the blue wave rolls nightly over deep Galilee, like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, that hosts with their banners at sunset were seen. Like the leaves of the forest when autumn hath blown, that hosts on the morrow lay withered and strown. For the angel of death spread his wings on the blast, and breathed in the face of the foe as he passed. In the eyes of the sleepers to wax deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved, and forever grew still. And there lay the steed with his nostril all wide, but through it there rolled not the breath of his pride. And the foam of his gasping lay white on the turf, and cold as the spray of the rock-beating surf. And there lay the rider, distorted and pale, with the dew on his brow and the rust on his mail. And the tents were all silent, the banners alone, the lances unlifted, the trumpet unblown. And the widows of Asher are loud in their wail, and the idols are broken in the temple of Baal. And the might of the Gentile, unsmote by the sword, hath melted like snow in the glance of the Lord.
Thank you, Aidan. Next up, representing Form 6, Stephen DiCarlo.
I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Thank you, Stephen. That was excellent. Next up, representing Form 3, is Nico Wachira.
I Look at the World by Langston Hughes. I look at the world from awakening eyes in a black face, and this is what I see. This fenced-off narrow space assigned to me. I look then at the silly walls through dark eyes in a dark face, and this is what I know. That all these walls oppression builds will have to go. I look at my own body with eyes no longer blind, and I see that my own hands can make the world that is in my mind. Then let us hurry, comrades, the road to find.
Thank you, Nico. Well done. Also representing Form 3, next up, is Nicholas Brady.
After the War by Rachel Galvin for Joseph Sloan. When he got to the farmhouse, he rifled through the cabinets, drawers, and cupboards, and his buddies did too. The place was abandoned, or so he thought, and his buddies did too. He tried to talk to people in town, and his buddies did too, but he was the only one whose Yiddish made it across into German. They took his meaning. He, in the farmhouse, took a camera and a gun. But his buddies, who knows about the gun? It's also hard to say. But after the war, he took up photography. Why not? And shot beautiful women for years. Got pretty good at it. And how? Won prizes and engraved plates. Put them in a drawer. Forgot about the war, forgot about his buddies, forgot about the woman, forgot about the drawer.
Fantastic job, Nicholas. Next up, representing Form 6, Joseph Lang.
Perhaps the World Ends Here by Joy Harjo. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies and ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they wrap their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor, falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and prepared our parents for burial here. At this table we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite.
Thank you, Joseph. That was great. Next up, last year's school poetry
Out loud!
champ, representing Form 4, Warwick Lloyd.
The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. I leant upon a copper skate when frost was spectre grey, and winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres, and all mankind that haunted nigh had sought their household fires. The land's sharp features seemed to be the century's corpse outlent, his crypt the cloudy canopy, the wind his death lament. The ancient pulse of germ and birth had shrunken hard and dry, and every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead, in a full-hearted evening song of joy illimited. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt, and small, in blast-beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. So little cause for carolings, such ecstatic sounds, was written on terrestrial things, afar and nigh around, that I could think there trembled through his happy good-night air some blessed hope, whereof he knew, and that I was unaware.
Thank you, Warwick. Another fine presentation. Next up, representing Form 6, Nick Casertano.
Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, have sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked me and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair. Nothing but sighs remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone level sands stretch far away."
Thank you, Nick. That was great. Next up, representing Form 3, Marshall Zhu.
To Helen, Edgar Allan Poe. Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Lycian barks of yore, that gently o'er perfumed sea the weary wee-one wanderer bore to his own native shore. On desperate seas long wont to roam, the higher things hail the classic face, the night airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece, and the grandeur that was Rome. Lo, in yon brilliant window niche, how statue-like I see thee stand, the gate lamp within thy hand. Ah, Psyche, from the regions which are Holy Land.
Thank you, Marshall. That was fantastic. Next up, representing Form 6, Oscar Lloyd.
We Lived Happily During the War by Ilya Kaminsky. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed. Around me, America was falling, invisible house by invisible house by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous reign in the house of money, in the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money, we, forgive us, lived happily during the war.
Thank you, Oscar. That was great. Next up, and our final contestant for this year's poetry,
Out loud!
is Caleb Perry, representing Form 3.
Cartoon Physics, Part 1, by Nick Flynn. Children under, say, 10, shouldn't know that the universe is ever expanding, inexorably pushing into the vacuum. Galaxies swallowed by galaxies, whole solar systems collapsing. All of it acted out in silence. At 10, we are still learning the rules of cartoon animation, that if a man drills a door in a rock, only he can pass through it. Anyone else who tries will crash into the rock. 10-year-olds should stick with burning houses, car wrecks, ships going down, earthbound, tangible disasters, arenas where they can be heroes. You can run back into a burning house. Sinking ships have lifeboats. The trucks will come with their ladders. If you jump, you will be saved. A child places her hand on the roof of a school bus and drives across the city of sand. She knows the exact spot it will skid, at which point the bridge will give, who will swim to safety, and who will be pulled under by sharks. She will learn that if a man runs off the edge of a cliff, he will not fall until he notices his mistake.
Thank you, Caleb. That was splendid. And I'd like to also thank all our contestants one more time for the...
Mr. Vale, wait, there's one more contestant.
Indeed.
Fire and Mice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in mice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction mice it also great, and would suffice.
Very interesting. What a surprise, Robert. Thank you very much.
Illegal procedure on the cat kid, improper use of the feline filter. He's out of here!
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. The announcement of the 2021 St. Anselm's Abbey School Poetry
Out loud!
Champion. In third place, representing Form 4, Warwick Lloyd. Great job, Warwick. In second place, representing Form 6, Joseph Lang. Congrats to Joseph. And now, without further ado, in first place this year, Cat Kid? Oh. In first place, in first place, Oscar Lloyd. Oscar, come on up and join us.